I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because I just don't want to, or I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because I'm stressed out, I'm struggling to try and get it done, I'm struggling even from a mental perspective. I'm struggling versus I don't want to are two very different distinctions. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. Strong, well-fed, and outspoken. We are your girls. My name is Rusty.
It's like, are you going to introduce both of us?
Yeah,
and I'm Coach Nell. What's up, guys? We are your girls, in fact.
Yeah. We are your big sisters of fitness. If you guys are, like I said, new to the pod here, Nell and I are regrouping after like 2 weeks away. So
2 weeks away and a lost episode. So that's in the nether regions, the stratosphere now. And it's funny because I like to think we're both very well versed in exercise and nutrition and all these things, but when it comes to technology I'm on zero.
No, I know. I'm actually working with somebody right now on like setting up more efficient systems for my business for this exact reason, because I'm like, I was always like the techie person in my family, but now with how far tech has gone, I feel like, my mom, when she was
stay with the times, mom. I am the mom now for sure.
Yeah, honestly though, it's just like, wow, this is next level. So
but one thing I will say I do keep up with quite well, and I think you do too, is social media.
Yeah.
Right? Multiple platforms. Like part of me says like, oh, Instagram is my ride or die, but like TikTok too, right? And there's great videos and stuff on there. I do spend a lot of time on there.
Yeah. I actually just watched a video the other day, and it really was probably one of the most motivating videos I'd seen in a while. I stitched it, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, it is on my profile on Instagram, which you can find in the show notes below. But it was basically this girl saying that she is disgusted with herself because she constantly notices the language, the way she talks to herself, the excuses she gives herself for not getting up and getting it done. And by getting it done, we're talking about fitness and her goals here. She is looking to lose weight and get healthier. And she openly says in the video, she almost didn't go for her walk today because of chub rub, right? Like, your thighs rubbing together, your stomach, things like that. And she openly says, how horrible would it be? How disgusting would it be to all of a sudden be 80 years old and think to myself, I didn't do what I wanted to do because of chub rub.
Truly.
It was,
and
incredible.
I was in a much bigger body. Well, I'm currently working my way up again. For different reasons. But we know I lived that life. And I have absolutely uttered those words to myself. And how truly, looking back, how disgusting that I was saying things to myself like that out of a place of what self-love is what I was calling it. I deserve to rest. I deserve to not, which is crazy because that's not love.
No. And I think it stirs, first of all, when a video I think goes like viral and it stirs something in anyone, you automatically know like there is something to be taken from that video, right? It's just a matter of, I think, like people who were offended at that video and they were like, you should learn to love yourself as you are. For them, I would actually say that they probably need to sit with, what are you so threatened about with somebody else actually not following the idea of self-love in the same way that you're following it. Whereas other people, they were really motivated, even I myself, right? You don't have to watch somebody call themselves out like that and be in the same body as them to be motivated, right? Like,
true. And I think the way we talk to ourselves varies person to person, right? The way you and I talk varies compared to just other people speaking. I think we both come off a little more abrupt or energetic than a lot of other people. And so the way we talk to ourselves also has to apply to ourselves. And if what we're saying to ourselves is not serving us, like I do really well with tough love. I always have. But then, when we talk self-love, I was in a body that I didn't care enough to change. I knew I needed to, but I was like, oh no, it's because I love myself at every size, which was true, but it was also limiting me.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think that there's something going back to what I said before and tying it in kind of with what you said about, being in a body before that was potentially limiting you. When somebody else is in a different body than us and they put out a message that is so convicting, it can very easily convince us, hey, maybe I need to do something differently. Hey,
Hmm.
maybe I need to change in some way.
Yeah, because we're always
I,
looking for ourselves in others, right?
yeah,
And
I
and
think
almost comparing.
totally. I think the problem there, though, is we see this work for good and we see this work for not good.
I would
So,
definitely agree.
in a case like her, here's this girl who is overweight, who is tired of her own shit, and she is openly sharing something so vulnerable by saying, I'm not going to settle. Um, I'm not going to settle in order to keep myself comfortable. I am going to get up and do the thing no matter how uncomfortable it is, because at the end of my life, I want to look back and say that I was worth showing up for. Okay. That is the message here. No matter what body you're in, it can really push you to think like, yes, what am I not showing up for in myself for? What self sabotage behavior? What comfort am I choosing over alignment? But then likewise on the other end of the spectrum, and this is my big issue with the self love movement, to be honest, is that we see so many people so with so much conviction talking about accept yourself as you are, love yourself as you are, you don't need to change, that I think for a lot of people it actually pushes the narrative of, yeah, why am I working to change? Like, why am I trying to do this? I'm fine as I am. I don't need to
Mhm.
change anything. And while for some people that can be a very powerful message, for a lot of other people it is, I would say, confusing yourself. You're confusing accepting yourself with settling for something you actually want to change or possibly even need to change.
Yeah. Actually, another coach that I know, she recently said, like, there are two kinds of wants. There's the want right now and the want for the future. And I
Yeah.
think when we kind of accept this good enough version of ourselves, we end up with the now want, right? I want to
Mhm.
skip my workout. I want to sleep in. I want to order takeout versus
Definitely.
the I want in the future. I want to be healthy. I want to not have knees that hurt. I want to have the energy. I want to be able to go up the stairs and not pretend I'm on a phone call so that people don't realize I'm gasping for breath,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and if we're just accepting these wants immediately, we're
Mhm.
never ever going to get those future ones.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fantastic thing to think about. It's the instant gratification, right, versus delayed gratification.
Yes.
And it is. It's really hard to do in the moment because especially when, you know, you're uncomfortable. The idea of finding comfort right now is way more appealing than doing something uncomfortable right now to find comfort later.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
like that
because
is,
loving yourself is not being comfortable all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Loving people is uncomfortable. If you have a partner, if you have a child, if you have a parent, if you have a best friend, it's not always
Oh my
easy.
gosh. No,
We
it
all
is
have hard
not.
days and we're supporting each other through that. We need to support ourselves through those hard days too and not let ourselves off the hook. To me, that is like truly the definition of self love.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, it's funny. That's your definition of self-love now, but when you think about it, like 5 or 10 years ago, do you remember what
Hmm.
self-love looked like? What would you have said self-love was then?
So I was kind of caught in this trap of like hyping myself up, being a really good hype girl, but hyping myself up in the wrong way,
Yeah.
right? Because now hyping myself up is like, okay, just pony up and go to the gym. Like,
Mhm.
just get it done.
Mhm.
But hyping myself up then was like, oh, you look great in this outfit. Just size up, you know? And it was stuff like that. It was almost, instead of hyping myself up to do hard stuff, it was hyping myself up to make life easier
Yeah.
in the body that I was in. And it was like, oh, you did a really good thing today. You were more active. So yeah, it's okay to get takeout because you love yourself. And it was
Mhm.
more of like an excuse with every sort of self-love tag.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. You touched on a point there where it's almost like we use self-love as protection against
Yes.
disappointment, right? It's like, and it's so nuanced because sometimes it is easier to say like, I'll just size up. I look great in this. And the reality is, you probably do. Like, for anybody listening out there, there's nothing wrong with sizing up. Clothes are designed to fit your body. You're not designed
And
to
clothes sizing is
force yourself to
arbitrary. Let's
fit.
be real.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. It's
I think I have
insane.
12 different sizes on today.
Yeah, yeah, literally in one go. It's crazy, man. Um, Even just on a fun note, like I have like for sure pairs of socks that are like kids socks. And I'm like, this is weird. How are these fitting my feet? But like it happens,
I
right?
have an
So
outfit that I always put together. Like it just, my brain says these all go together. And I know for sure I have an extra large, a small, a medium, and a large all on at the same time.
yeah,
For sure. Because I looked it up one day because I remember someone posted on their Instagram or had asked a question. I was like, screw sizes.
yeah, 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 yeah. Legitimately though, right? It's hilarious. Like a few weeks back, if you guys listened to the episode, I talked about a big Sheen order I put in, but like so many of the things were different sizes. I had things that were like a small that were too big, and then I had something that was a large that was like too small. I'm like,
Well, I
how is
think
this
like
possible?
that right there is a self-love perspective that I think people need to change, right?
Mhm.
Self-love is accepting that you're going to fit different clothing sizes, not putting this pressure of like, this is the size I have to be, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where we end up with this, like, I don't know, label that we're hating for ourselves.
Totally. Yep. So going back to kind of like what you said before, I totally think that sometimes the idea of self-love, the idea of body positivity is actually being used as a way for us to protect ourselves against disappointment. Because again, that example, there's nothing wrong with sizing up, but are you sizing up because it's like my body has just genuinely changed? Or are you sizing up because you don't want to deal with the fact that you have been deliberately overeating, you have been out of control, you have not been caring for yourself in ways that are actually about self love, not so necessarily weight loss? That's not what we're talking about here,
Hmm.
right? Like, I think that bodies should change. I think one of the most unhealthy things we could do, so on the flip side of this, is try and hold ourselves to like the size we were when we were in high school or college, and now you're a 40 something year old woman. That is also, in my opinion, trying to do something like that, be like, oh, I just want to go back to the size that I was, and justifying that as self-love is also not self-love. And to be honest, I would say if you are somebody who is 35 plus and you are trying to get back to the size you were when you were in high school or college and justifying it based off of, I just love myself enough to care about my physique enough to want to change it, you are actually justifying a very unhealthy desire with self love, when really you're just trying to protect yourself against the disappointment that you somehow feel for just naturally aging and your body's changing as a
Existing
result.
as a human.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I do think that that's something that's like really powerful for us to ask ourselves is this actually body positivity? Is this self-love? Or am I justifying something to protect myself against disappointment? I definitely think that we can easily use self-love and body positivity to protect ourselves against disappointment. I know, like, even for me 10 years ago, well, and you know what I'll say? You mentioned what self love is for you right now. Like for me, self love, I've really learned that it means like just accepting yourself as you are, in terms of not necessarily finding yourself beautiful every day. Because I'll be honest, I used to think that like having self love meant that you would find yourself beautiful every day, that you'd be like, I
Mm.
look great every day, my body looks great, my outfit looks great, like my hair is great. Like you would literally just think you were like the hottest thing ever based from an aesthetic or visual point of view. But now I really realize that true self-love, true self-acceptance means accepting yourself every day, whether or not you actually feel beautiful or not.
That's a really good point because I think a lot of people kind of see self love surface level, right? And it's not.
Mhm.
That's like a much deeper take on it, right? And I often, like, when we're working with clients and stuff, it's hard to see those deeper wins. And,
Yeah.
they point them out throughout their check in, but they don't realize they do it. And I'm like digging in deep and I'm like, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. But it's
Yeah.
true, right? Because if your self love is always tied to an aesthetic,
Yep.
there's always going to be days where you don't feel like you fit that aesthetic. Even if
Yep.
you had, like, even if you're full goth, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your wardrobe is all black and you have very specific makeup, there are going to be days where that winged liner ain't working for you.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
And then if, you know, there's so many facets of you, right? Like there's holiday version of me and I love to dress on theme. There's work version of me. There's, podcast version of me that probably wears mascara. It's never going to look the same. I mean, and
Totally.
you and I are both going through this phase of gaining, right? And not
Mhm.
just gaining weight because that's happening, but gaining a lot of new perspectives and new insight into who we are.
Yeah.
And I think if we're tied to that aesthetic, gaining is terrifying, right?
Mhm.
And so you
Totally.
can't love yourself at that version because you won't accept yourself at that version. And you mentioned accepting. You're not always going to feel like a million bucks, right?
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Do you think that there's like people are afraid that if they want to change their physique in some way, they're admitting they don't love themselves?
I think there's a lot of fear around that.
Hmm.
And even if it's not outright saying it, I think just in the society we live in the current trends of today, that feels very scary. And
Yeah.
we've put that on ourselves without even realizing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, this is something you guys can all ask yourself, but ask yourself, like, do you believe you can love yourself and actually want to lose weight? Do you believe you can love yourself and actually want to change? Because I agree. I think a lot of people think that, and even, based off what I said before, right? Like my definition of self love now is accepting yourself as you are, not necessarily finding yourself beautiful, but that doesn't mean you can't want more or
Yeah,
you
I
can't
think
want different.
acceptance and desire and willingness to change are not synonymous. They don't
No.
100% have to go together.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think one of the most honest things you can do is, or you know what, I would say it like this. My true definition of self love, especially in situations like this, when we're talking about fitness or change of any kind, is accepting yourself as you are without hating yourself for it, while also wanting different in the next moment.
Mhm.
You can absolutely do that. You can accept yourself as you are without hating yourself for it, while then also wanting something different in the next moment. It's a very hard thing for us to comprehend because while we also talk about social media, I saw the most disgusting video from these two. I don't know if you saw it. You're gonna see it because I'm gonna stitch it.
Yeah, send it to me.
um, but I saw this video from like literally, it was absolutely horrendous. These two girls, I'm really hoping they just did it for like, I don't know, um, to go viral because for sure it's making like news. But they're literally just calling people, they're swearing at whoever's watching the video consistently. They're saying, like, if you're overweight, if you're tired at the end of the week and you don't want to work out, you're just a lazy
Mm,
cunt. I really don't like that word.
no, me neither.
If have cravings and you give into them, you're just a fat cunt. It is brutal, this video to watch.
That's right
And
up there with the girl who said if you're over 160 pounds,
oh
you're
yeah,
like basically a worthless POS. I'm like,
yeah.
Miss Ma'am, I have never been, even at
And
my
then
most jacked, shreddy spaghetti, body fat of like 15%, I have never been under 160 pounds.
yeah, I actually was looking for like some marketing stuff. I pulled up a photo when you were working with me of when we had you at your
I'm not
lean.
gonna lie, I look at those and I have moments of, oh
Oh
man.
yeah. Girl, me too. I'm like uploading tons of videos in the last 2 years that I have on my phone. My phone is constantly out of space or constantly warning me it's out of space. I'm like, I actually have to upload these. So I've been going through them. But like, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was so ripped, I'm like, wow, this
But
is painful to watch a little bit.
but
But
speaking of self-love, this is where I catch myself
yeah,
because I'm gaining weight at an average amount for pregnancy.
yeah.
Textbook, like it is there, it is good, but I do catch myself going like, well, it's okay to rest. I'm growing you. Go to the gym, move your body, go for the walk.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally.
But we talk
I
about our shredded photos.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I really want to ask you a question based off of that. But what I was going to say is, with the girls who posted this video, it's really hard for people to be able to say, I accept myself as I am. I don't hate myself for it. And I want change in the next moment. When you've got these people who are literally trying to make you feel bad for who you are
Feel
now.
garbage. Yeah,
Yeah.
tear you down. Strangers on
You,
the internet tearing you down.
it's crazy. You don't have to feel bad for who you are now and the habits you have now, you can accept that those are your habits and then want something different for yourself. And I think this is why a lot of people associate wanting to lose weight, wanting to lose fat, wanting to change your physique from the aspect of, oh, that person must hate themselves.
Yeah, I'm trash.
No, right? Like you really don't. But yeah, with what you said, like there are moments where you're like, no, no, go to the gym. It's fine. Go to the gym. I was gonna actually ask you, are there ever any moments that you have like previously or now where you realize you're making an excuse for yourself instead of like showing compassion for yourself?
Ooh, great question. It's tough right now because
Mm,
I'm constantly torn between like, this is what you do for a living. This is something you're passionate about, that you care deeply about, and also like it is okay to rest. And
yeah.
so I've always kind of given myself like a 3-day rule, or a like,
Yes.
it's like these sandwich compliments, right? Like, do this, it's okay to do this, but you still have to do this, right? I'm almost like bargaining with myself a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if that really answers your question, because I feel like I'm not getting it right, truly.
Mm,
Right? Like
mhm.
there are some days where I've tapped out and I'm, vibing on the couch or I'm curled up in bed. I'm like, I probably could have given more today. But then there are
Yeah.
days where like I'm in the middle of a workout. I'm like, I'm gonna cry if I keep going.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, yeah, I can't say I feel good about those choices because I don't feel like I'm nailing it yet.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fair. I think that honestly I would even relate to that. Like with the health phase I'm in right now, like I'm supposed to be pulling back, but then there are times I do and I'm like it doesn't feel like I feel like I could be doing more, but then like no, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But then there's other times like I was just at the cottage for a week with my family and I just brought up a pair of dumbbells, which is totally fine, but like I definitely could have gotten like another workout in at some point. And I was like, you know. So it's like, finding that it's a really fine line at times, I think, between giving yourself compassion or making an excuse for yourself.
Yes. And I think you have to go into whatever you're working on with that understanding. It's always evolving, it's always changing, and you're always evaluating, because
Yeah.
you don't just automatically get this right.
Yeah, I think a big one is also trying to think, okay, like the difference between compassion and excuses for yourself. I think compassion can sometimes, first of all, are you recognizing that you're struggling or are you recognizing that you just don't want to?
Mm,
Because those are two very different things. Is it I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because I just don't want to, or I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because I'm stressed out, I'm struggling to try and get it done. I'm struggling even from a mental perspective. I'm struggling versus I don't want to are two very different distinctions.
yes. And I think as coaches, we help people find that line a lot. But when it comes to
Mhm.
ourselves, I find it harder, right?
Yeah.
Like I've worked with guys that, they've had insane family emergencies, and, they've been up for 48 hours in a hospital. And like, yeah, I couldn't skip my workout. And I'm like, no, you should be skipping your workout and having a little nap. Like
Yeah.
that's where that line needs to be drawn. And then flip side, it's like, oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I can't follow this because I've got this, this, and this. And I'm like, those truly are excuses for you
Yeah.
to not do it because you don't want to, right?
Yeah, definitely. And even from a habit perspective, we can look at it from the perspective of, okay, am I again like giving myself am I being compassionate or am I using an excuse? So let's say food wise, right? You order takeout once because you're exhausted and it's been a super long, hard day. You could say that that is compassion versus ordering takeout every night because cooking feels hard.
Yes, that's a
Okay,
really good example because I
it's
think that's
different.
where a lot of people fall.
Yeah, yeah. Skipping a workout because you're sick, because you're like, my body is genuinely still sore. I've been mentally stressed. I don't feel really recovered versus skipping because, again, I don't feel like it. These are two very different mindsets.
Yeah, the drive to the gym, there's going to be traffic, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have my headphones, something
So
like that.
before we
And
go
he
on,
goes,
have you ever done a workout in like your outdoor shoes, or like Has there ever been a time where you wanted to turn around and go home, but you're like, I'm just going to get through this, even though I didn't bring my stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, many times. I've forgotten
Right.
headphones on leg day or something like that, where I'm like, oh, but I almost love it more because I feel so much more like a badass for getting it done. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was like, I don't know, like I'm like Rambo in there now. Like,
Yeah,
no
like it's old
excuses.
school. Me and Arnold, we're doing it together.
Yeah, for sure. And even like the shoes thing, that's happened to me a couple times. I just go my socks.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
I'm getting it done. I'm not going to be like at the mercy of some inanimate object or, I feel like you give so much of your power away when you're like, "Oh, I can't now because I don't have like socks or headphones or whatever." It's like, really? Do those things have so much power in your life that you are literally a victim to that situation?
True.
Yeah, different mentality.
Well, it goes back
Um,
to that kind of video at the start that we were talking about, right? It's kind of
yep.
disgusting that you would let that be the thing that determines your outcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't push harder because I didn't have my headphones. Oh, I like didn't get my workouts done or I wasn't consistent because I forgot my shoes. Really, bitch? Really? That is the thing that is going to be at the end of the day. I don't think so. um Likewise, I think though all of this kind of stems back to the same idea, which is like, are we giving ourselves a justification in order to stay comfortable, or are we requiring more for ourselves?
Hmm.
Because true self love is not really, it's almost never about how comfortable you are. It's about, do you have your own back?
Yeah.
It's being able to say, like, am I going to be there to cheer myself on? Am I going to be able to stand up when I've made mistake after mistake? Am I going to, also though call myself out on my shit? Like being able to say to yourself in the car, you're going to the gym, you're getting it done. We're not holding back.
Yes.
That is truly what self-love is. It's having your own back. And that's why I think for a lot of people, when you choose complacency, um, I think that a lot of people who choose complacency on the justification of I'm good as I am, I don't need to change, actually don't have very good confidence.
No, and like I would have told you, oh, I have great confidence at that point because I was
Yeah.
constantly letting myself off the hook. But the reality was I was putting on a show. And
Yeah.
if I'm putting on a show of like confidence, why can I not put on a show of discipline, of resiliency, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
even if you don't believe what you're saying or you don't fully believe what you're trying to work on, the more you do it, the more it's going to happen.
Hmm.
And I think that makes a difference. Like, yes, you can absolutely love yourself and lose weight. You can
Yeah.
absolutely love yourself and get stronger, whatever. You can love yourself and gain weight, but you have to have that goal. You can't just always rely on, oh, because I love myself. You have to have these
Yes.
very specific goals that you're aiming for. And I think that's why you and I are probably, I don't, maybe don't want to use the term struggling, but struggling right now because for us, it got really easy when it was like rise and grind, right? Push hard in
Yep.
the gym, get shredded, locked in with nutrition. And now that there's this more like general, be kind to yourself shift because it
Yeah.
needed to happen, it feels a little bit harder almost because we probably did tie self love to being very regimented, being very disciplined. Now I have to self love by like, take a
Yeah.
pause, reevaluate.
100%. That's such a fantastic point. I think a big part of me, as I'm listening to you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
Because I know that complacency before, letting myself off the hook before, I never actually felt better for it. I didn't
No.
actually, it was never from a healthy place. It was from a keeping myself comfortable. It was from a place of not, wanting more, desiring more for myself. So now I still somewhat associate like backing off, being kinder, being gentler, being less intense with who I was before, which was just letting myself off the hook and justifying it all the time.
Yeah. And so you kind of have to reevaluate constantly. Am I being true to what I'm working to achieve, or am I defaulting back to something that really didn't serve me at the time? And that's kind of
Yeah.
a scary thing to have to think about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that's why, like, when Rusty asked, where am I pushing? Where am I resting? I don't have a good answer for it because I'm still figuring that out as I go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because some days
Um,
I absolutely nail it. And I'm like, yes, you love yourself. You did everything you could do today. And then other days are like, well, guess we'll try again tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. I know that like if you're you know, if you're listening to this and kind of thinking to yourself like, okay, but what is the difference? Like what is literally the difference between changing my body because I hate it versus changing my body because I respect it? I know that was something that I struggled with like looking back a long time ago when I had initially lost my 50ish pounds and then gained it all back. I still can recall the like thought process of like, you're fine as you are, you don't need to change,
Mhm.
like, body positivity, self-love. And again, like everybody is worthy of love and respect at every size. That's not what we're saying here. But the mentality there was I was telling myself all of those things, but I didn't actually feel any of those things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, I was trying to use that justification to escape the discomfort that I did feel. I actually wanted change, but I was still very much stuck in that like justification mindset. So I think for you guys, like, if you're again asking yourself, like, what is the difference between changing my body because I hate it versus changing my body because I respect it? I would ask yourself, like, am I trying to escape something?
Mm. Yes,
Because
because go ahead.
no, no, no. I just think behind a lot of our reasoning for not doing something, there is a justification we're using to try and escape something.
Yeah,
Um,
because your scale weight doesn't bring your value to the world. Your number
yeah,
doesn't bring value to the world. But how often do you hear this from people you've worked with? I am a better whatever because I've changed who I am, because I've put work into to losing weight or to gaining strength or whatever it is.
yeah,
I can show up better. And to me, like a lot of my self-love comes from like the value I bring to the world. The scale
mhm,
doesn't determine that, but when I put the time and effort into changing who I was, I can
mhm,
show up a lot better for myself and for everyone
definitely.
else. And if you're stopping yourself from being able to show up better,
Mhm.
that's an excuse. That's not your self-love, right?
Yes, yes, because a lot of the time, I truly believe this, but a lot of the time when we say to ourselves, oh, I'm just going to accept myself as I am, you're justifying not doing even the smallest things to care for yourself.
Hmm.
So if you're stuck in that mentality of self love and self acceptance, but you also deep down inside know that you don't actually feel that good, I want you to stop asking yourself, should I accept myself or can I accept myself? And instead ask yourself, what would caring for myself actually look like today?
Hmm.
Because sometimes it is just like, okay, you know what, it's going for a walk, it's going to therapy, it's eating the dessert, it's stopping at one dessert, it's going to bed or having a conversation you've been putting off. Self-love, as we said before, is rarely um comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. Get
There's
into the
times when it's
nuance, get
discomfort.
into the gray area, do the
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But you can absolutely love yourself in the version you are today and still work to change because you know there is more for you.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I know again when I look back and I was, I gained all my weight back and I was still trying to convince myself, accept myself at every size. I still can feel even in my body now, like the discomfort that I was trying to avoid by going back to the gym and knowing I was starting from day one.
Mm,
Right? It's a lot easier for me to say, I accept myself as I am versus facing the discomfort of putting on or having to go buy new fitness clothes because they no longer fit, going back into the gym, being out of breath and winded again,
yeah.
knowing that I was in a different place before.
It's funny that you mentioned like, buying new clothes and going back to the gym because I literally had this conversation with my husband. I said, I'm ordering big, oversized gym shirts because I know that at the end of this process, what I was wearing to the gym isn't going to cut it and it's already going to
Mhm.
make me feel bad.
Yeah.
But I've already decided I'm not going to let it make me feel bad. And I'm preemptively taking a step to do that. And that to me speaks volumes to self love, right? Knowing
Mhm.
I'm not going to feel great, but
Mhm.
also understanding like that's not going to stop me,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of the self love
Oh, yeah.
movement and what it should be. That's not going to stop me.
Mhm, totally. It is amazing how much love and respect you have for yourself when you build resiliency.
Hmm.
When you are like, I'm so uncomfortable and I'm doing it anyways, not only are you actively proving psychologically in real time to yourself, like, I survived, talk about regulating your nervous system, but there's a type of confidence that gets built in facing the discomfort that nothing else can replace, in my opinion.
It's so true. I used to say this to my students all the time. I worked with a lot of students that really struggled academically. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, what's the point of a test? Like, I just have so much anxiety around it. I said, it's controlled. If you
Mm,
can learn to be uncomfortable doing this, you can get through anything.
mhm.
Right? Because if
Yep.
we don't build that resilience, you're never going to have it when you need it.
Yep. Absolutely. I think, if I was going to give you guys something to walk away with, I would say, if a friend came up to you and if a friend came up to you and said to you, like, I have this big dream I want to achieve, what would you do? You would encourage them. You would be like, you got this. You
Go
can
for it.
totally do it. Yeah, go for it. Why? Not because they become a more valuable person by attempting it or achieving it. Not because all of a sudden they become more worthy of love or respect, but because you believe in them. But when it comes to yourself, you don't have that same conversation with yourself. You don't push yourself. You don't have your own back. You don't say, you can do it. You can achieve X, Y, and Z. Why? Because you've maxed out on self-love? I don't think so, bitch. I think it's because you don't actually believe in yourself to do it. You're not willing to have your own back through the discomfort. But for everybody else that you love, you believe in them to encourage them, but yet not for yourself. And yet you're defining that as, I have enough self-love. That's not how that works. I think it's one
No.
of the biggest contradictions that we see.
Yeah, if I were to say, like, take this with you, I
Mm,
want you to take your definition of self-love and make sure that it's serving you.
yeah.
Is are you hyping yourself up to be the next best version? There's nothing wrong with you today. Let's be very clear. That is self-love in that. But are you also hyping up that next best version? Because if you're not, that's where you're missing that like how to move forward from today.
Yep. Yep.
Because I think
100%.
that's a lot of what's made. How do I move forward from today? Because I
Hmm.
can look in the mirror today and go, yeah, I'm amazing. I love myself, which is true.
Hmm.
But I can also want more.
Yes, totally, totally. Loving yourself as you are is not synonymous with being content with where you're at.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, I would probably even change that because I do think that it's important to be content with where you're at, but like not
Yeah,
letting
don't go
contentment
forward
hold
from a
you
place of
back.
hate. We've said this before.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Not using contentment as a justification for pushing yourself a little bit further.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, strive for
um,
just 1%,
yeah,
right? It doesn't
literally.
have to be big. You don't have to change who you are. You have to be just a little bit more involved, a little bit more enthusiastic about your future.
Yeah, yeah, even just a little bit more self-aware.
Mhm.
It makes all of the difference. Changing yourself is not synonymous with hating yourself in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So if
So keep
that's
listening if you want to see us continue to change ourselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially now in the next couple months, we got some big ones coming through.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to work with Rusty, she'll hook you up. If you want to work with
Yeah,
me, sorry, you're SOL for a while.
yeah. Now let's go on maternity leave here in a little bit.
And we're gonna have
But
to change our like outro because usually it's like if you want to work with us, and I'm like, actually, no.
yeah, yeah. But on that note, there is a coaching link in the form below or in the episode description below, you guys. If this is something, I think this is where coaching, sometimes everybody thinks like, I think coaching needs to be like, oh, I have a specific goal, like I want to lose weight or build muscle or whatever. But sometimes coaching is literally the most beneficial because I just need the accountability to change. I need somebody there that's going to help push me, not necessarily because I have a specific goal, but because I know I want more for myself. I want to push more for myself, but I'm not in a place where I can hold myself to that just
Yeah,
yet.
that little bit of insight that maybe you're lacking.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a link in the show notes below. Click it, fill out a form. We'll hop on a call, chat more with you and where you're at, and we will go from there. But in the meantime, if this was helpful, useful for you guys, please feel free to share it to your social media channels. All of our handles are below.
Yeah, so absolutely tag us.
Yeah. And if you guys,
Especially me, because I gotta stay involved.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now she'll be on maternity leave, but she'll be monitoring everything from a
I
different
will
perspective.
just be like keyboard warrior style.
Yeah,
Baby strapped to me.
we're definitely going to need a photo of that. um, Otherwise, guys, if you haven't yet, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Hit that subscribe button so you guys get all the updates on our upcoming episodes. And remember, we will be taking a break here before season 3 officially comes out. So probably from August to about mid-September, beginning of September, we will be on pause. But you guys can still, again, chat with us on our social medias. So be sure to give us a follow.
If you guys want to hear more, we're gearing up for season 3. So don't be shy. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you found helpful. Let us know what you love and hate. We want to hear it all.
Definitely. It literally helps us plan out our future episodes. So until then, guys, have a beautiful week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.